Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're in for another mini-sode. That right there is Jordan Hirsch. That is Francis Donald. And again, we're joined by our commander-in-chief, Wheezy F. Wayne Treptow. We're excited for what we have for you tonight. Again, just a quick reminder, too, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. And be sure to like and subscribe whenever possible. So, gentlemen, it's a pleasure to see you on this fine night yet again.
Always.
Again, we're going to do a little stick work here. So we're going to go in and we're going to reach for another topic, right? So something we want to talk about tonight. Let's see what we got here.
I like the way you use stick work there. I think that's going to be the new name.
I like stick work.
I think we're going to have to coin it right there. So again, the topic for tonight is going to be influential players. Gentlemen.
Whoa.
Let's get to talking a little bit. We're going to put 12 minutes on the clock and kind of riff for a bit, right? So some influential players, and that again, that's pretty open-ended on our part. So let's hear it.
All right, you do one, and then I'll do one.
If only I had $1 for every time I've heard that from Francis. Influential players. First person that comes to mind for me that absolutely was a mind-bending player, Casey Powell. Have to say him first. We've mentioned this a million times. When we were younger, it was really hard to get a hold of games. It's not like it is now where you can just type it into YouTube and find pretty much whatever you want. Back in the day, it was tough. You had to really find something like local. So to find a game was tough. Syracuse, Virginia. I want to say it was 97 in the Carrier Dome. Extremely high scoring game. I want to say it was like 22-21 or 23-22, something like that. The talent in that game was off the charts, and Casey Powell stood out amongst a group of all-stars. He scored a goal running down the alley behind the back on a tough, like clear. He got a ground ball around the midfield. Stick got wrapped around his neck, drew a penalty, ran down the alley and stuck one behind the back low corner. The amount of times I tried to replicate that goal in my backyard is probably not even fair to say 100. I think it would be more than that. And how many times I tried it in a game and usually got in trouble for it might be equal. But I don't take that back. I don't take it back at all, because I always thought, and I could go on just in that game of influential players, but the moves that I was trying as a kid probably started there and then expanded. So I was starting with the high degree of difficulty, which maybe wasn't the best move, but
aim high, Willis.
That's right. It made me really expand my mind as to how you can play the game. So Casey Powell, number one for me.
CP, deuce. I'm going to have to go with my guy, Damian Davis. Defenseman, Princeton. I don't know, what class was Damian Davis? Class of
4?
02?
2?
I think it was 02, maybe. I think it was 02, maybe a 3. Most notably, I only had a couple games in high school. They were on VHS tape. Thank you, Derek Thompson, for sharing the love, my old coach. One of them was Princeton versus Hopkins, 2002 semifinals at Rutgers, and Damian Davis wearing the 2-5, which is what I ended up wearing in college. When you talk about wanting to emulate somebody, me as a lacrosse player, defenseman, a black lacrosse player, also a defenseman from Dallas, Texas, when I catch somebody that looks like me out on the field, that's huge. That's powerful. I could see myself in that opportunity. So carried my stick like Damian Davis, wore the same shoes as Damian Davis, threw hard checks like Damian Davis. He was just a tough guy, multi-sport athlete, played football and wrestled in high school, I believe. Unbelievable competitor, had some great matchups with Mikey Powell in his career, and just an all-around, from what I could tell, just an all-around awesome player, competitor. The way they talked about him on TV, the way Quint talked about him on TV, made me want to emulate him. So
toughness.
Forever grateful for that influence.
toughness. I think about toughness and grit when I think about Damian Davis, and adaptability. He was able to cover every type of guy. Incredible cover defenseman. Next guy I got to get to, and really, I wouldn't even call it a close second. I would call it like a 1A, 1B. John Hess. If I tried to do the moves that Casey Powell was doing, I probably wasn't landing close to it, right? Those were just so dynamic. I was trying to play like John Hess. John Hess is kind of a local guy. I live in Westchester. John Hess went to Nyack High School in Rockland, graduated Princeton in 98. The things I loved about John Hess's game that I really wanted to try and do as a younger player, he was a threat, but a feeder. So I think he was going to the goal with a purpose and then making great decisions. Rarely turned the ball over. I can imagine a move that he made in a game that I saw on TV, or maybe it might have been in person on championship weekend, where he came from X and kind of like drew a man on a man up and then squared his shoulders back up to make the extra pass. And I used to practice that in my backyard with no defenders and with no one to pass to. That's how much I wanted to try and, emulate his game. The other thing is John Hess was a champion, multiple time national champion. And you cannot say enough about someone who knows how to win and knows how to win often. So his, and again, the way he was described on TV as a leader and a fiery competitor and an assist first guy. Those were the kinds of things that I thought was really, valuable and someone that influenced my game a lot.
Love that. I'm going to go to the Cuse. I'm going to go Scott Ditzel. Scott Ditzel, probably a name that not a lot of people know, but Scott Ditzel was on the 04 team that won the national championship, beat Navy in Baltimore. Also number 25. Coincidence? I think not. Big, strong defenseman, used to lay the lumber. The first person I ever saw have two hands on his stick, release his backhand, and throw an ice pick over the head. I think it was against Hobart. We went to the Cuse Hobart game year at Hobart. And he was just one of those guys. They matched him up against Ian Dingman. If you remember Ian Dingman for Navy, he was a big, huge attackman, like 6'4", or something like that. And so these guys were just rumbling and stumbling in that 04 championship game. Scott Ditzel was throwing checks. He was intimidating. He was picking up ground balls. He was just a really solid upstate player. I believe he's from Geneva, I want to say, or something like that. Fact check me on that. But one of those guys that doesn't come up in conversation, but if you watched him enough, he was worthy of trying to play like he did. So Scott Ditzel, thank you.
That's a good one. Hey, I got an idea here. Why don't you say a player that you think influenced my game, and I'll say a player that I think influenced your game that we didn't mention.
Oh my goodness.
You think you got something?
There's a couple. I don't know. That's going to be tough for me.
All right, we watched a ton.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna kind of go out on a limb here, and maybe not someone that influenced the way you play, but someone that you loved watching play, and that was Adam Doniger from Johns Hopkins.
Yes. Also
this
number?
Is 25. This is a guy who Francis talks about often, mostly because of how heavy his shot is. I mean, just a heavy ball. And maybe not someone who influenced the way you played, but someone you definitely thought about in terms of shooting form. So when you were trying to develop your shot, getting your hands back a certain way, your hip rotation. And let me tell you something, not to brag or anything, but my buddy here, he can shoot the ball. Like, he can shoot the ball hard. He can shoot it pretty hard. And I would, even though Adam Doniger was a midfielder, I would say you kind of tried to emulate his hip rotation and his hand speed. And I think that kind of molded your shot a little bit. Is that
Definitely
fair?
shoot a heavy ball. Absolutely. I would be out on the field at St. Mark's in Dallas, Texas, shooting like Adam Doniger. In that same game that I watched with Damian Davis, taking step down shots by throwing the ball up in the air, catching it myself, and then stepping down. It was really sad when I think back on it, but that's all I have. You know, a guy that you really tried to play like. What about Mark Millen? Can I go? Can we go Mark Millen? And the reason I'm going to say that is because you spent a lot of time when we were in college, at least at one point, perfecting your exclamation point shot, right?
Yeah.
Running to a spot, turning and shooting from that spot. And that was Mark Millen's bread and butter. From what I know, I watched him more in the MLL, the early MLL, than I did anything else. But I know that was one of his moves. Is that accurate?
Yeah, no, that's a really good call. I think that for someone like me particularly, I needed to draw influence from a lot of different people because I wasn't nearly as athletic as Mark Millen or as smart as John Hess or as dynamic as Casey Powell. So I just took a bunch of stuff and tried to make it work for me. But yeah, Mark Millen for sure. Yeah, just churn the butter, make it work. Mark Millen, number 9. He was number 9. John Hess was number 9. I was number 9 in high school. So yeah, all those guys for sure definitely had an influence on me. And Mark Millen playing for the U.S. in 1998 didn't get much better than that. How good he was with both hands stands out. How great he was at creating space for himself to get a shot off stands out. And you're 100% right that sprint dodge from X, exclamation point, jump shot, whatever you might call it now. That's something I worked on a lot to try and use for sure. And something they don't tell you though is you really are exposed when you take that shot, right? So if you're right-handed and you go up that right side from X and you're ready to release the ball against a left-handed defenseman, you got to get protection. That's all I'll say. You got to make sure you're protected. I've been on the receiving end of some bad news there.
I'm going to shout out 3 names. No explanations, but I want to mention these guys.
You got 45 seconds.
Trey Woody, Virginia.
Yeah.
Long stick midi. Kyle Sweeney. Shout out Kyle Sweeney. Tom Fritz, Nazareth College.
Yeah,
Tom
let's
Fritz.
go.
Gotta shout him out. Guy taught me how to throw checks via DVD.
Matt Kent for you as well. The guy
Absolutely.
before the guy.
Also number 25.
Yeah. I'll go 3 quick ones. Mike Watson and Doug Knight. I guess those are 2 guys, but same team. Loved watching those guys play. How athletic and just a highlight reel. Neil Palace. That's my guy. Nazareth College. And I'm going to say this. Ira Vanderpool doesn't get enough love. Loved his swag. I loved watching him play.
Boom. 44.
Awesome. I think very pertinent for both of you guys. And 2, man, I'm going to have to do a couple Google searches after that too. Those were a lot of names before my time, for my generation. Just on a few, just on a couple, but very pertinent and pretty good stuff out of you too, as always.
Yeah.
Here we are again. Time for a little game.
Yeah.
One of the newer ones that our guy, Wayne, again hooked us up with a little group involved
Wayne.
as well. Okay, Wayne. So this one we're going to call Back to School. Back to School. Similar to Billy Madison. to prove I'm not a fool. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to throw out some players, past, present, and you guys are going to have to name their college. So it's going to work like this. We're going to go down the list. I'm going to go to Jordan first maybe, or Francis. Let's do Francis first this time. And I'm going to say the name. Francis, if you get it, that's a point. We move on. If you don't get it, then Jordan has the opportunity to guess as well. And if he's able to guess, that's a point. If not, no points. Let's get into it a little bit.
A little circle gets the square. I like it. Are we talking just lacrosse or any athletes?
You know what this is going to be, Jordy? This is going to be a little NFL, a little NBA. We're going to get outside of our comfort zone here.
All right. Let's go.
We're all sports guys at heart. So again, let's jump into it. We love the sports. So Francis, I'm going to start with you.
Sure.
A guy who is a New York legend, Stephon Marbury.
Oh. Ooh,
It's a good one.
embarrassing. Marquette?
No, sir. Jordy, you have the opportunity here.
The correct answer is Georgia Tech.
Ding, ding,
Oh,
ding. Georgia Tech
wow.
was
Samsonite.
that's a great documentary too. If you haven't seen the Stephon Marbury documentary, very, very good. So we're gonna go, since Jordan got the second one. Jordan, it's gonna go back to you again. So this is Damian Lillard, your boy.
Damian Lillard went to Weber State.
Wow.
That's very impressive. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm not even
A
mad.
small
That's
school
amazing.
guy.
Shout out Dame Lillard. I'm a huge fan, actually. I think he's awesome.
He's a stud. He's incredible what he's doing. So Francis, back to you again. Another tough one. Another small school guy. Guy you would look out your window, maybe think he was cutting your yard. You might not mistake him for an NFL player. Wayne Corbett.
Oh,
Wayne Corbett. I mean,
Wayne Corbett.
you said he's a small school guy. I'm gonna go
Give him a
with
hint.
Troy
Give him a hint.
State.
No, but you know what? I'm going to give you a hint. You've played a lacrosse tournament here. You've coached a lacrosse tournament here. You've attended a lacrosse tournament here while scouting.
Hofstra.
Hofstra. The pride of
There you go.
Hofstra. Yeah, there
Let's
we go.
go.
Wayne Corbett. That's impressive. I'm gonna give Francis a point for that. That's impressive too. That's great. All right, Jordan, to you, sir. The one and only Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd was a Cal Bear.
Wow.
Went to
Jake
Cal.
Albert.
Correct. Stud. Jake.
It's excellent.
He's a stud.
Excellent.
We're gonna go back to
Hold on. If you don't get that joke, please stop listening to our show. If you don't get that, I'm kidding. Don't. But that was a high level play on words. That was really good. Jay Cal Bear
that.
on a lacrosse podcast. Very
There we
good.
go.
Okay, I'm sorry
There we
for
go.
interrupting.
No, perfect. All right, so it's gonna go back to Francis here again. Francis, another guy. I'm gonna give you another chance at this. Calvin Johnson,
Calvin Johnson. Megatron?
Megatron.
He was a Georgia Tech guy.
There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
He was a Georgia
Try-
Tech guy. I gave you a
yeah,
second chance.
yeah.
Stud.
Redemption.
Redemption. Megatron. Redemption. Point to Francis. Okay, back to Jordan. Jordan. Old school bully. Bill Lambier.
oh wow, that's a really tough one. Bill Lambier.
Did they have colleges back then?
Yeah. Didn't he just go right to the league? Bill Lambier. Did Bill Lambier go to?
Gotta be somewhere in the Midwest. He
I was
just-
just gonna say. I'm gonna say like
You had
Purdue.
one.
Purdue.
That is incorrect. But you're close in distance.
in distance
Francis.
from Detroit.
Next door. we'll say.
Next door, Iowa. I don't know if
Close.
Iowa's
Notre
next
Dame.
door to Indiana.
Notre
Oh.
Dame.
Sneaky Notre Dame guy, Bill Lambier.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. In
time
Indiana,
bully.
but the bougiest part.
The bougiest part of Indiana. I don't know if anybody on the pod listens to Indiana, but shout out to them in the bougiest part there. We're gonna go back. So whose turn is it now? Who got that last one right there? I think it's Jordan. It's your turn, correct?
No, it's for
Francis.
it's Francis. It's
I got the
Bill.
last one. The Megatron.
Francis.
Megatron.
Another legend,
Yep.
South Florida legend,
Florida.
Chad Johnson, Ocho Cinco.
Oof, that's a tough one.
Same guy. For those who were confused by
Ocho
that.
Cinco.
Didn't go anywhere close to home. That's for sure.
It's so crazy how I never watched him play in college. Didn't go close to home. I'm just gonna throw a random guess out there and say Ohio University, not state.
No, sir.
Okay.
Not that close, but I like where your head was at. Jordan, to you, sir.
I'm gonna say Jackson State.
Incorrect. Oregon State is the answer.
Really?
You know what's another fun fact? Oregon
What?
State. You know what's a fun fact
I
about
didn't know
that as
that.
well? His teammate on the Bengals, TJ Husman-Dada, That's a mouthful. TJ Hushmanzada also went to Oregon State. I don't know if they overlapped or were there at the same time.
Interesting.
But some Oregon
Wow.
State guys.
I did not. I didn't know that at all. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Stud.
I apologize for not knowing that. That's Ocho Cinco is great.
Sneaky.
Good entertainment.
Very good entertainer for sure.
Great player, hilarious guy.
He's doing his thing now with the podcasting game, but
Yeah. I am athlete.
Truly. All right, so we're gonna go over to Jordan, correct?
Yes.
Jordan, this is a Hall of Fame running back, a stud, one of my all-time favorites, Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk went to San Diego State.
Ding, ding, ding. There we go. Francis, I'm surprised I didn't ask you that one there, but a stud nonetheless. Great
The
player.
Aztecs.
All right, well, let's see if you get this one. Again, another stud. One of my favorite players, lockdown quarter, Champ Bailey.
Oh,
great name.
One. Very good one.
Wow. Champ Bailey. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Champ Bailey.
He's a dog, man. He's a dog.
He's a dog. Georgia?
Ooh, ding, ding, ding. There we go. A little bit of help from your guy there.
We'll go hope.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
You might be in the
my
UGA
friends.
Hall of Fame.
I can't shy away from an assist.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Jordan, your guy, Scottie Pippen. Where did he go to school?
Oh,
It's tough.
Oh, that's really tough.
It's tough.
I want to say he went to like Arkansas State.
You're very close. The wording is close there. Francis, do you have an idea?
I'm pretty sure it was in Arkansas, but I don't remember. Was it Tech? Was it some sort of Tech state?
Central Arkansas.
Central
Not
Arkansas.
north, not south,
Tech.
not east, not west. Central Arkansas.
Central Arkansas.
All right, this next one's
A&M.
tough.
Polytechnical.
This next one's tough. I don't know if you're gonna get it, but he's one of my guys. All-time legend in Buffalo Bills lore, Andre Reed.
Oof.
That is
extremely
Actually,
hard.
Extremely hard, so it's not a big school.
Not a big school.
Uh,
Didn't know it was a school.
oh.
Could not be a school. I don't know. You could have just. Could not be a
My
school.
dude could have just turned up.
We just found him on a field somewhere. I don't know.
What part of the country? Can we get a hint?
The Midwest.
It's a lot of space.
A lot of space. Ohio, I want to say.
You want to say?
Oh.
PA, excuse me. PA.
Oh.
PA.
Oh.
Ohio, PA.
Wow.
Kind of blend at one point. Right there. You know?
Allegheny
No,
College.
No.
Good
but a pretty good
guess.
guess. Sounded really good.
Pennsylvania.
Jordan, any clue?
I mean, definitely no clue, but I'm gonna guess. Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know it was a school, so that's a bad start.
IUP. Was it IUP?
It was not. Not a bad guess either, though.
Is that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, is that Indiana University?
Pennsylvania.
Oh. Okay.
Did he go to Susquehanna?
He didn't go over Susquehanna. I heard this and I was like, oh my gosh, this is Pennsylvania right here. This is
Pennsylvania.
It kind of rhymes with it. A chip. It's not Lay's. It's his other one.
I'm gonna say
not Chiptown, not Utstown.
Puttstown? I don't.
Kutztown University in Pennsylvania. Andre Reed.
Seriously?
Who knows how they found him?
Yeah,
He's a legend.
I got nothing on
Wow.
that. I mean, I know that
Kutztown.
school. I've heard of that
That's
school.
tough.
I would have never guessed that.
Kutztown
Small
sounds
school.
like me in middle school baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, we all were there. That's why we played lacrosse, right?
That's why we're here.
That's
been
why
cut-
we're here.
If I hadn't
All right,
been
last
cut in
one.
the 7th grade, I wouldn't be here.
Last one, a favorite of mine, especially in backyard basketball on the computer. You guys might have been a little bit older for that, but Lisa Leslie.
What are you trying to say?
Lisa Leslie.
Lisa Leslie, I think she went to.
Don't say
Not UConn.
No, I know not UConn. I know not UConn. USC.
USC. There we go. Who's another legend that went to USC in the women's program?
Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl Miller.
Wow.
Good program there.
Her brother Reggie went to UCLA. Very
Oh, her
controversial.
brother. Younger bro.
Very controversial.
Very controversial.
Should have went to SC.
Excellent. Guys, another good game. I thought that went pretty well.
Who won?
I win. I knew them all. I knew all 11.
Fair
At
enough.
the end, Jordan, I think, finished with
I think so. I think so.
good stuff. Fellas, again, great game.
5 points, 1 assist.
There we go.
5 and
Jordan
1.
gets another one for the
It's a day.
assist, too. He gets an apple there to end it. So,
Thanks,
gentlemen,
Shawnee.
great game. Good stuff, as always. Pleasure.
Wrap.